Hello, my name is Samuel Thomas. I am a junior majoring in biology with minors in psychology and chemistry. And today I'd like to talk about the concept of negative partisanship in American elections. Negative partisanship can be contrasted with positive partisanship. Positive partisanship is when someone supports a candidate or a party because they like that candidate, that party, or their policies. Negative partisanship, on the other hand, is when someone supports a candidate or a party because they dislike an opposing candidate, party, or policies. Negative partisanship can refer to either these negative feelings that people have for a candidate or party, or it can be the actions they take, such as going to the polls to vote for a candidate in order to vote against another candidate. To get an idea of how prevalent negative partisanship is today, here's a clip from earlier this year summarizing some polling results taken from potential voters.
The Trump anti-vote represents about 25% of the population. The Biden anti-vote about 15% of the population. But these are individuals that are voting exclusively to vote against the other, and it's less important the specific characteristics or flaws of the candidate they vote for.
We're talking with Cliff Young about polling and campaign 2024.
So polling indicates that up to 25% of voters for a presidential candidate could in fact actually be negative partisans. Although this is not a majority, it is still a significant number, and it's part of a larger trend starting from the 20th century. These two graphs from a study by Abramovitz and Webster show average feeling thermometer ratings, or positive feelings, over time. On the left is positive feelings for a political party, whereas on the right we have positive feelings for presidential candidates. The solid lines represent feelings for one's own party, whereas the dashed lines represent feelings for the opposite party. And as you can see, both lines trend downwards over time. So that means positive feelings for both one's own party and one's opposite party have gone down. But feelings for one's opposing party have decreased much more substantially than feelings for one's own party. This indicates an increase in negative partisanship over time, because even though people don't necessarily like their own parties as much as they did in the past, they also dislike the opposing party to an even greater extent. This shows how dislike for the other party can be greater than one's like for their own party, and that is the basis for negative partisanship. So you may be asking, what are some consequences of negative partisanship, and specifically a rise in negative partisanship in America? This next clip can give us an idea of how negative partisanship can influence an election.
And all the studies in political science show that negative partisanship is stronger and works better and is more effective than positive partisanship the vast majority of the time. So that's why we have such negative races, Tia, and that's why all the ads, 90% of the ads people see are attack ads. Negative partisanship, no matter, for better or worse.
So in addition to a rise in attack ads to appeal to negative partisans, a rise in negative partisanship can also have some other outcomes, such as an increase in straight ticket voting. Straight ticket voting is when someone votes for the same party at all levels of the government, local, state, federal, instead of split ticket voting, which is when there's a mix of both parties that are voted for. Straight ticket voting has been on the rise since 1988, and that ties into how there has also been a rise in party loyalty. Negative partisans are more likely to be loyal to their party than even positive partisans. So negative partisans are more likely to vote for their party at the local, state, and federal level repeatedly. And that's why we see an increase in straight ticket voting and party loyalty. Another effect is the increase in negative selective media exposure. It's been shown that people are more likely to select media that portrays an opposing party in a negative light. So they're more likely to want to get their news from a source that reinforces their views. So this can kind of create a sort of echo chamber effect where people's own views and opinions are reflected back at them. And this can lead to a less informed electorate because people are choosing to ignore certain stories that may portray opposite parties in a better light. A final effect of negative partisanship is dissatisfaction with the democratic process. It's been shown that negative partisans are more dissatisfied with democracy than positive partisans, or even people who are apathetic to elections. So a rise in negative partisanship can decrease commitment to democracy because people are less happy with democracy. And in the long term, this can lead to a less stable democracy because less people are choosing to participate in this democracy due to a lack of satisfaction with it. So, to conclude, negative partisanship is made up of negative feelings towards or votes casted against political opposition. It can have a huge impact on elections in America and can even have an impact on democracy itself. Thank you for your time, and I'm open to any questions.